What's up, guys? Welcome to Chilling with c.bo. I'm your host, c.bo, and I'm here with the three people. What's up? I don't know what I'm saying.
No,
Anyway,
I am one of three people.
yes.
Our collective.
What to my usual co-host, Juan. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to be back. Good. Sorry I had to duck out last week. My boss was breathing down my neck about a couple video projects, but now I'm semi ahead on some of them and procrastinating another.
It's all good, man. We all got busy. What about you, Pedro? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I just had a phone interview with the Board of Education for my background check, and I am all but approved to be a substitute teacher.
Awesome. Jack, dude, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. I haven't had a computer for a while. I got that back, and I was in Maine this weekend, so I had no
Nice.
internet whatsoever.
Everyone we know is going to Maine.
How was that? How's Maine? How's Maine, dude?
It's beautiful. I very much love it up there. It's very much my I don't know. I would love to move up there if I really had the chance. It's very depending on where you go. I went more towards the Canadian side, like the beginning of the Appalachian Trail and that sort of mountainous area. I'm a big sucker for hiking and lakes and stuff.
Is it simple living?
It is as simple as you could possibly get, and honestly, I want to go back so bad.
Nice.
I want to go now. You convinced me, Jack. You sold me.
I'm in dire need of a getaway. So I will probably take one very soon.
If you guys ever get the chance, I feel like COVID is the year that road trips are necessary.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to like a state right next door, like even Massachusetts or Cape Cod. Go to Cape Cod. I wanted to
Cape Cod.
Kind of ironic you say that as we're in the middle of a pandemic where crossing state lines might cause infection.
Well, I mean,
no, there's states New Jerseyans can go to without, quarantining. Like Massachusetts, most of the Northeast states were good, like to go to.
All right,
you can just don't go too far
Don't go
south.
south. Yeah, don't go
just
south.
Go up.
Go up.
Straight
Yeah.
up.
Go up to the right. Yeah.
Like it. All right, cool.
Quick update with me. I did see Tenet in theaters. The theaters, there's like barely anyone there. I felt pretty safe. It wasn't crowded or nothing, But yeah, Tenet, I gotta say, it was pretty awesome. But a little warning, it is confusing as shit. And a lot of theaters have gotten a lot of complaints that the musical score and like the sound mixing is kind of bad, and I low-key kind of agree because sometimes there are dialogue scenes I had no idea what the hell they were saying because the music was so freaking loud and it was just booming like with like synths going on. But like some of the action scenes that were going on in the movie, I was freaking blown away, and I was like, God damn. But I need to see it again. I will see it again. But yeah, Tenet, it gets my approval, and it'll probably get better on rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's always such a turnoff too when you're. It's one of those passive things you don't realize when you're watching a movie is that eventually, like the sound design can like make everything unintelligible at times.
Yeah, I would recommend if all of you should watch it if you ever get the chance or ever want to dive and take that risk.
When it comes out on streaming services, I'll definitely give it a shot. Well, I have control of the volume.
And you have subtitles.
I can't imagine.
Doesn't watch the movie without.
Turn into one of those. It's going to turn into one of those movies where you're constantly like turning up the volume when they speak, and then the second music comes on, you're like, ah, shit! And you turn it all the way down to 0, and then you like go back and forth.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. Yeah.
Hold one in one hand, soda in the other, and you need like a third arm for the remote so you can just play volume control.
Yeah, and like the exposition, it's like, some people say Inception has way too much exposition, and like the whole middle like stretch of that movie is just pure explanation of the plot. Mm-hmm. This is anti-Inception. They explain what's going on. Boom, we're on to the next. Yeah, if you were not keeping up, screw you. We're moving on.
Give us like a quick non-spoiler rating of the movie.
I'd give it like the highs were so high in this movie, but like it was frustrating just not knowing what the hell people were saying at the time. So I'd give it like an 8.5.
What about Robert Patterson's acting?
He's
What would you
good.
rate it?
He's good. Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
He's finally redeeming himself from the crap pile that is Twilight.
Yeah, you made a lot of money with Twilight. I mean, come on.
Yes.
I was thought that the new Batman might redeem him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't he have coronavirus and now production
Yeah,
delayed
he does have
further?
COVID. Yes, he
Is
will.
that confirmed? Is that confirmed that he has coronavirus?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it does.
confirmed.
Yeah, it's confirmed. He has to quarantine himself for a while before they start filming again.
I'm okay with that. Actually,
Yeah.
funny enough, I interviewed an athlete for my internship who also had coronavirus, and he told me
Man.
he lost 22 pounds while in quarantine.
Oh my God, that's insane.
That's just muscle. Imagine what Patterson will have to like gain back to continue filming once he gets back.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a rough world out there, but yeah.
You know, and speaking of rough worlds, Les Mis.
Yes, we saw Les Mis for this week's podcast. Now, it was a film that manages to capture the essence of a moment-to-moment musical, and I guess I'll start off. I thought it captured that really well, and I really enjoyed the experience. Hugh Jackman and was a standout. Obviously, he was awesome. Anne Hathaway, wow, just she did the most with the least, and ended up getting an Oscar, and it was cool. There was a lot of good songs and a lot of I enjoyed the movie. What about you, Juan? You're the theater guy. What did you think of Les Mis?
So as I kind of said in an earlier discussion, Les Mis isn't really like my favorite musical.
Okay.
Honestly, like when I was watching it, it kind of like from a storytelling standpoint, it just was a better version or what the movie Cats aspired to be. You know, like continuous singing, operatic themed, very long, and you know it does a good job as a storytelling from a storytelling perspective. But if I was to choose one person in this whole movie who I thought stole every scene they were in, I'm going to give it to Samantha Barks, who played Eponine
Yes.
in the movie. And, you know, it just like her character is one of true tragedy. She did nothing wrong to Cosette. She just lived under the love and care of her scammer of parents, played by Helena Bonham Carter and Sacha Baron Cohen. And the fact that like she was able to just steal some of the battle scenes with her unrequited love for Eddie Redmayne's character, it took me away, and her singing was by far some of the best of all the other performances, better than Hugh Jackman's, better than Anne Hathaway's. Like that's what did it for me.
What about you, Jack?
This movie was interesting, and interesting in the sense that I kind of approached it as if it were a movie before a play, because we know it's supposed to be a musical adapted to be a movie, but I found it hard to pay attention a lot of the time because I wasn't expecting so much of this movie to be this sort of spoken. I know it's a musical, so a lot of like the bigger scenes that happen in this movie are done like with a spoken sing-songy kind of way, but for whatever reason with the cinematic look of the movie, and then like Jean Valjean is like this really like broken down, like hardened criminal, and in particular like when he has his I think it's his soliloquy, like when he's trying to come to terms with how he can't believe like he just stole from the church, and how the priest forgave him for like his crime, and you know he wants him to succeed in life. I found it so weird that during that whole time he is the cinematography itself is portraying like this dark and like it's like a character moment, but it felt so disjointed from the dialogue and like what he was actually saying and the way he said it. It just felt like a very forced kind of performance from like in trying to keep the spirit of this to being a musical. I feel like the acting in certain scenes were kind of sacrificed in order to do it, and it feels like it doesn't affect everyone, but it definitely affects some characters in the movie. Russell Crowe as Inspector Javert, was it? But like
Yeah.
when he and Hugh Jackman have that one exchange in the beginning, I just remember sitting there going like, this is the weirdest way to have like a conversation for a movie. Like if I was watching this as a musical, like on a stage, and it's got a whole different atmosphere when you see it. But it's kind of like the difference between watching. It felt like if they tried to, I guess, in terms of like going back and one medium for another, it's almost like if you went to the theater to watch people act out Inception. Like it just doesn't. It just there's things that just get kind of lost in translation, and I feel like this movie kind of felt a little lost in translation for me. There's a lot of good there's a lot of great acting in it. Don't get me wrong. It just I couldn't get my mind out of seeing this as a movie first before a musical, and like it just hit a wavelength I couldn't sync up to.
Yeah, it's
If that
perfectly
makes any sense.
No, it's perfectly understandable because, like, there's a reason why, if you adapt most things get adapted into movies, they add a lot of like dialogue and story and stuff like that. But this just straight up goes, they're adapting it 1-to-1 from what it was, and just, adding more production value and, direction and cinematic, flair to it.
Yeah, like they didn't. It's one thing to do an adaptation like what they did for Lion King. Like Lion King was a 2D movie, and then they made it a 3D story with there's different scenes involved. Like yes, this overall story is the same, but like they changed the whole cast, they changed the feel of the movie so that it could work more so for 20 when did that movie come out?
Last year, yeah.
Last year, 2019.
Yeah.
For whatever reason with this one, they just took it as we just want this in movie form, and it didn't. Do you see like the problems that come about when trying to do that particular like shift?
It's hard to do musicals as movies. The only couple ones that I've seen prove to do so were Chicago and Moulin Rouge when those came out in the late '90s, early aughts. They did a great job with regards to storytelling and mixing in musical numbers that helped continue the progress of the story instead of hinder it. So, Jack, I see what you mean by that.
Yeah. Yeah, but Pedro, we haven't gotten your thoughts yet. What are your thoughts on Les Mis?
Aside, I agree with that. The adaptation of the play into a movie setting wasn't really a really smooth transition, in my opinion. I couldn't really follow the plot because of the singing. It's not like dialogue. It doesn't really move along the story. More like tells the person's innermost feelings and thoughts. So sometimes I couldn't really tell what was going on. But it was the acting that really got me, especially Anne Hathaway's character Fantine.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm not usually movies don't make me feel anything, but that performance like really hit me hard.
It's tragic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the tragedy and the cruelty she suffered, all because a man was too afraid to help her, and it was just heartbreaking to say the least. It really got me, man. Like, bravo for she deserves that Oscar and all the accolades that come with it.
It was definitely one hell of a performance, especially she makes such an impression. The movie's over 2 hours and a half, and she makes such an impression on the movie, and she's only in it for like at most 20 minutes. It's insane. But you mentioned Russell Crowe, Jack, and I think we have to set aside a couple of minutes just to talk about him. this guy was out of his element, man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Like
it's like you ask a substitute teacher to be like, hey, can you watch my kids for a hot second? And I gotta step out. And then the teacher leaves, and then the guy just looks at all the kids, and they all look at him. That's what it felt like. Everyone was just kind of like, what are you doing here, Russell Crowe?
Hey, I'm a substitute teacher.
Well, hey, look.
But like,
Russell, sorry, go ahead, Jack.
I would trust you with
it just felt like one of those aspects where they were hoping, they were just looking for star power, it felt like.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe was available, and I don't know, it just couldn't mesh. I just don't know what it.
I'm Java.
And he's like my prime example of how this movie felt so not disjointed. It felt so unimmersive for myself, was because here's Russell Crowe trying to hit these high ass notes. His voice is as baritone as ever. It's so.
I feel like when he didn't go for those high notes, he was okay. But like they made him go for those high notes, and I'm like, dude, like at least just like not go for them. Like you could just sing it in your baritone voice, and it'll be passable, whatever. But it's like, what are you doing?
And half the time when he would,
I hope he's safe.
And half the time with his cadence and everything, when he would just say his lines with his normal voice, it just sounded off because it just sounded like his normal voice, but he forgot how to properly form sentences.
Oh man!
If you were
don't you forget my name, Javart. You're just like, okay, I will hopefully forget about you.
To replace him with.
I don't know, but I'm sure there were actors out there who were better than Russell Crowe at singing.
So I think while Pedro was describing like the acting and all the positive parts of this movie and how certain actors really did thrive in this, what I got reminded of, because I was just looking around, they apparently did like a filmed version of the stage show of Les Mis in 2019. And that got me thinking about how Hamilton looks great, yet it's also still the theater experience, but they just added cameras to it. And I feel like that would have made this movie more I guess more cohesive if they focused on the theater part of the show versus the realism of it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, instead of trying to make it seem more of like a movie, I feel like they should have embraced the fact that it is at first a musical, and pushed that more. So like if they put everyone on the stage and got everyone on the mindset of it being a musical, then I feel like everyone would have it would have flowed more cohesively, I guess.
I mean, I like the production design of the movie. I thought it was honestly gorgeous. Like the setting, and like, you know, I thought they really recreated 1800s France really well, and like I kind of like that era of history. So it's like, oh, this is really cool. This is kind of hitting what I like.
I don't know. It just felt I just couldn't get over like.
I know what you mean, Jack. I know what you mean. This is a really weird movie, to say the least.
It's a very weird movie.
I mean, I don't know. Weird constitutes it. Not It's okay.
It's a one of its kind. Like there's not much like it out there, and that's for better and for worse.
I just call it like it is. It was Oscar bait from the beginning, and it could only capture so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some artistic craft in this movie that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, any last impressions on Les Mis? Anything you want to get out? Like,
No, I mean, we talked about Russell Crowe. We could talk more about Russell Crowe.
Do you hear the people sing?
Sing the songs of angry man. I mean, like, did he like? Can I spoil the ending of this?
Yeah, this movie's like 8 years old. It's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't understand why he had to jump off the freaking bridge into the river to kill himself at the end. Was it that he was so mortified that his worldview had been shattered by one man that he couldn't live with it? That's got to be like the most petty way to die that I've seen.
I
I feel like that's typical musical fodder, though. Like I feel like that's a more common theme, because if you look at other stage shows, like a lot of Shakespeare stuff does that too, where it's like people just come to realization of things and they're like, well, I don't agree with this. I don't want to be in a society that deals with this. I'm just gonna kill myself.
I saw it as like an identity crisis. It's like, oh, I've been working on the wrong side. Look at how many people have died because of what I do. I'm gonna kill myself. John was right.
Pedro, what about you?
I just wasn't really into the movie except for the Anne Hathaway parts. Other than that,
it's only like 20 minutes of the movie.
No, like it wasn't as compelling as that one scene.
Yeah, no, her I Dreamed a Dream was it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, but in comparison to that, everything just fell flat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk briefly how
Russell Crowe?
Can we talk briefly how ADHD like the camera movement was? Like it just kept cutting and moving. The only time the camera stayed still was on Anne Hathaway during her solo. That is it. It just kept moving and cutting, and I'm like, dude, like it's there. Like there's nothing you need to hide. It's like the production value and the acting. It's all there. Why do you need to keep cutting and moving?
I think like this movie just got so big for itself. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long. It's like Peter Jackson directed it.
This must have been an exhausting experience in theaters. Like it's the one thing watching it on TV, but it's like it's another thing watching it in a big screen and the camera just keeps moving and you're like, what the hell is going on? It keeps singing. There's no dialogue and you're like, ah.
That's what I'm talking about. It feels like I'm watching the Bourne Identity instead of
the Bourne Identity of musicals.
Yeah.
The whole time I was watching a lot of the scenes, like when Cosette, the little girl, sings "Castle on a Cloud," it just made me think of the SNL parodies of Les Miserables, especially the one about lobsters.
I was thinking of it too. Cosette, get out of here! I will sacrifice myself.
All right. So I like the movie. Juan, it's not your favorite.
Lobster.
It's
Pedro,
good.
you thought it was okay, right?
Yeah.
And Jack, you're like, what the hell's going on most of the time?
I enjoyed it for what it offered. I don't enjoy it for this. I enjoyed it for its moments, but as an adaptation of a musical, I think I'm just gonna go watch the staged concert performance.
I do want to see the live stage play. I do want to see that. I'm sure that's phenomenal.
In terms, I feel like this is comparing the musical Cats to the movie Cats. That's what this.
You know what's funny? This is the same director. It's the same director.
Right.
Like,
stop. No, it's not. I don't.
Yeah,
believe
no,
you.
I'm dead serious. This guy directed Cats 7 years later. I don't know. We'll talk about that, but like,
oh my goodness.
But
He
like,
did the King's Speech. Sorry, I'm sidetracking, but like, that's a good movie.
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
but like, so
That's Bill Hader miss.
So I guess we'll go into the next topic. What are some of our favorite musicals that are have even higher highs than the Les Mis. What are some of your favorite musicals on stage or movies or whatever?
Hmm.
I like Into the Woods.
Into the
Uh,
Woods, okay.
I'm a sucker for Anne Hathaway, or not Anne Hathaway, Anna Kendrick.
Okay.
She's amazing.
What about you, Pedro? What are some of your favorite musicals out there?
Does it have to be musicals in a movie or musicals in general?
Both.
Okay, my favorite musical made to a movie is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Bleak Street.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought Johnny Depp was phenomenal in that.
Hmm.
And Alan Rickman was had an amazing voice. And as for my favorite musical on Broadway, I think the best one I ever saw was How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
You saw with Daniel Radcliffe. You mentioned that, right?
Yeah,
That must have been awesome.
it was amazing. But I have one regret. I didn't get to see Something Rotten while it was on Broadway. That's my one regret. I wish I could have seen it.
That's also something I regret because it's been on my list for so long, and I always walk past it, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna buy tickets to go see it, and I never did.
We were in college, man. We never had time to go to New York to see a Broadway play.
That is not true. We did go see SpongeBob,
You did.
What-
I didn't.
which was 100% worth it.
Y'all saw SpongeBob on Broadway?
Yeah,
I
it was
graduated by that. I
incredible.
was there.
Oh, man. Were you there, Pedro? Did you see it?
No, I wasn't in Cap when they went to see it.
Oh man, what SpongeBob the musical? What is that?
It's a musical
It
of
is-
SpongeBob.
It's one of those things you hear about and you go, that shouldn't be good,
Like
but it is
Spider-Man.
good. Exactly.
Well,
But
Spider-Man
it
was
is
just over ambitious. I feel like.
Trash. It was trash.
No,
What?
it was trash. It was made for kids.
which was made for kids, Spider-Man or SpongeBob? Because I'm pretty sure SpongeBob was made for me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. SpongeBob knows how to feed into the adult undertone themes with like subliminal messagings and wordings, whereas Spider-Man just kept it pure kid material.
But there's like acrobats and stuff, and it just could never work it out, like right, because it was just too much, right? It got way
Have
over
you-
budget.
Yeah, there's a lot of accidents that happened during that movie.
Yeah, it was just over ambitious. Yeah,
When you
maybe they'll
see-
figure it out one day.
When you see clips of it, and when they do get it right, though, it does look like really good. Like there's Spider-Man's just flying over like the crowd, shooting webs and stuff, and you're like, whoa, I am watching Spider-Man in action. This is pretty crazy.
What about you, Juan? Some of your favorite musicals, movies, and stage form?
Favorite musical in a movie, I would have to give it to a Disney film, Hercules, definitely.
Yes. Okay.
Interesting.
Mainly because like I love the gospel, southern jazzy blues music that the movie provides. So much so that I have a playlist dedicated to it that I listen to regularly.
Hmm.
And, yeah, and my favorite Broadway musical of all time, as much as I love Hamilton, I'm gonna have to give it to the Book of Mormon.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It does the one thing I love in shows, which is a parody of everything in life. You know, it takes an idea and makes fun of it to the fullest extent, and I appreciate it when creators can do that.
All right. So I guess now. So my favorite like live action film musical. It's probably The Sound of Music. It's just a classic. You guys seen The Sound of Music?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I packed up The Sound of Music.
It's just a lovely musical, man. It's just like how can you not like
Mhm.
it brings a smile to your face. My favorite, I guess, Disney musical, probably Lion King. That's just basic. The songs are there just hits after hits after hits. I'm like, yeah, it's obvious, yeah. And my favorite stage musical, probably Wicked. Wicked was just just moment to moment, just awesome. Like, and yeah, it was great. Elphaba, she's queen. So I guess now that we talked about our favorite musicals, I guess we can go into the next topic, which is what musical from Broadway deserves the film treatment? If it's the Les Mis treatment or the, or they try to, make it more into a movie type of thing. What do you think deserves its due? Like if you saw that was coming out, what would you be excited for?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Like what Broadway stage musical should get the film treatment?
I was gonna say Beetlejuice, and then I remembered Beetlejuice is a movie already.
Yeah, that was a movie first. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. I think How to Succeed in Business should be its own movie.
What? Oh, the Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it should be its own movie. I think it has some cinematography qualities that can be translated well, and it'll have a better camera shift than Les Miserables, because you said that the camera work from Les Miserables was very ADHD like that you couldn't keep it still. Maybe they'll do a better job with How to Succeed in Business with that, because it's fast paced, so it'll be more cut and dry,
Okay. What about you, Juan?
I'm gonna say A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. One of my favorite musicals of all time. And the best part about it is that there's an actor in the movie that plays 7 or 8 different main characters throughout the whole show, and the costume changes are just so immediate and quick paced. And I'd love to see how that would translate on the silver screen. Sure, you can take the pauses and take time for the costume changes, but it'd be an interesting idea to explore.
What about you, Jack?
I think I would do Dear Evan Hansen.
Interesting.
I do feel that a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people would enjoy, because the music is very, very catchy. Like I've listened to the soundtrack in full, like I think at least once, and it was before I knew Dear Evan Hansen was its own movie. And I know a lot of the times people I've seen from what some shows my younger sister watches, as well as some shows that people have recommended to me. A lot of people kind of subscribe to like the kind of drama and personal like journeys that Evan Hansen goes on like in the show, plus the fact that the songs are really catchy. I feel like if you did it right, or if you did it like a Netflix series, like it would look like I feel like it would be a really cool, or at least it would be a very entertaining, yeah, a mini series, or maybe not so much maybe not a movie, but because yeah, no, I just think I think that would be a cool adaptation to say.
Nice, nice. So I got 2 stage plays that I want to see in movies as soon as possible. One is pretty obvious, Wicked. I don't know how that's not a movie yet. Like there's that, and it's pretty easy to do it because there's dialogue in the play. So it's like, it doesn't have to be like Les Mis. There's story and there's music. So it's like, what the hell, Hollywood? How have you not gotten this right yet? And obviously, I want Adina Menzel as Elphaba. Like that's a given. She has to be her. Like that's just come on. And a second one is an answer that Juan's not gonna like, but I personally want it. I think it'd be an amazing movie, and I think Hamilton would be a great movie.
Is it technically already a movie?
Well, like a narrative like movie, like not a just filming the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I think that would be incredible because I love the Revolutionary era of America, and turning that into a giant musical, I think would be awesome. And I think that would just, yeah, I think it would be really successful too, especially with like how unique it is, like with the diverse cast and like the hip hop all coming together. I think that'd be freaking dope. And I'm like, oh, what? I want to see that. but it's probably not going to happen until like 2040.
I support what you're saying, man. It's just like what I hate is that Hollywood will find some way, shape, or form to kind of ruin what makes the musical so good. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know how, but it will find it because Hollywood has always found a way to make something beautiful terrible, i.e., Artemis Fowl.
Yeah. Do you guys think, like, with Les Mis being like our kind of entryway into this sort of topic, I feel like there is this weird idea of that we could or should make theater, like popular theater shows into movies, or vice versa. But I personally feel like there's a reason why a lot of these theater productions are super successful versus why a lot of popular movies are very successful. How it's kind of like when you do movie adaptations of video games, like they can never hit it right, and it's
They're getting
mainly,
closer though. They're getting closer.
yeah, but like it's the whole point of like the whole point of, for the other example of playing a video game, is for you to play the game. Like it's geared towards you wanting to like
Control. Yeah.
be in this world and be immersed and so on and so forth. Like for movies, the experience is using cinematography and sound design and things like that. It's a medium that pulls you into the whatever world they're trying to craft, or to tell you a story about a certain individual and things like that. And with theater, it's the how it feels different is because you're physically going to these places, and you're there, and all the sets are real, and the people there are within arm's reach. You can feel their presence, and their acting is, in your face, and you can experience it from any angle most times, and you can still feel as if you were in the space physically, experiencing the feelings and emotions that actors and uh, extras are feeling and doing. And whenever those big bombastic musical moments happen, like you hear the band, and you feel the vibrations of the music, and you see these elaborate, like, choreographed dances at times, and contrasting with those moments where the main character has a monologue and things like that. Like you connect with them on a deeply personal level because you're in this physical space with them. And I feel like while it would be like an incredible experience to adapt something like Hamilton to the big screen, and to have it be in like this very accurate like time period background, and to enjoy it in that sense, I feel like it's never going to be the same, or it's never gonna be as good as what it was originally meant to be. And I feel like I wanted to know what you guys thought of this as well, because I feel like, should we adapt things should we try to adapt things from their original media or intended form of how you wanted these things to be portrayed?
I mean, there's always room for something to be adapted to another media, and sometimes it turns out well, and sometimes it doesn't. And that's just the reality of a lot of things. Like books turn into movies, books turn into video games, and books turn into stage plays. We're not complaining about books being adapted to stuff. It just happens. It's always been a thing. Like,
Converting something into something else is always going to be a huge risk, you know. So whether it's a play to a movie, a book to a play, or a comic book into a video game, like conversion can only go so far. And with that being said, it all depends on who has their hands on the material, who has the right vision, the right respect for characters and story and plot and theme, and who they pick to portray the characters in the way that they deserve to be portrayed. It's a long, arduous process, and often when you try to get fan interaction for it, it doesn't always work in their favor. But I'd say why not try? The risk is there, and original ideas are slowly fading into obscurity. So why not try?
So Juan, you're saying it's more of it's a willingness to take a risk, and c.bo, you're saying that it's just an inevitability inevitability that everything's gonna eventually just kind of get adapted to other things just because.
Yeah.
Pedro, do you have anything?
I agree with Pablo's thing that originality is dying in the movie industry. Now people are adapting pretty much anything they can get their hands on. Like, remember the Emoji movie? How they tried to make a movie with emojis? Trying to make this whole Wreck-It Ralph ripoff.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That is the pinnacle of Hollywood has run out of original ideas.
Well, to be fair, no, keep going. Yeah, go ahead.
As for, and it's not uncommon for movies to adapt from books. That's also true, and video game movies are getting better, but not steadily, mind you. Like the Pokemon, the Detective Pikachu movie, that was a video game and it turned into a movie. What you guys think of that?
I liked it. It was good.
I did. I think it was pretty good too, in that it honors the source material of Pokemon.
It definitely does. Yeah, that's the best part of the movie.
Although the acting could have been better. All in all, adaptation is the most common form of making a movie, and nowadays like Tenet is also an adaptation of a graphic novel, right?
No, it's from Christopher Nolan's crazy mind.
Really? I thought it was a book adaptation.
Nah, it's not.
How about that? Well.
So Tenet's a rare example of originality, actually.
Exactly. All right. Okay. Well, then there you go. So, adapting is just so common nowadays. Like you're just gonna read about the story anyway through its original source material and compare it, which will lose some value for the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, honestly, I just want more originality in films nowadays. No more adapting from old movies or books or video games. I just want more original ideas, like Tenet.
Well, to be fair, even before movies, there's been no originality in storytelling at all. It's just different deviations of things, It's just different versions of things told in different ways and different twists with different characters. But it's all just like I think I read somewhere there's only like 7 types of stories people tell nowadays, and it's just kind of true. But it's like it's the way you tell the story and with the characters and how it's told, that it could be fresh,
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah. So adaptations, yeah, it's just it's like I said, it's just something we've always been doing since humans have been able to tell stories. Like, how many versions are there of like stories from the Bible? How many versions are there of Shakespeare stories? How many versions are there of all that?
That is true.
Yeah.
Like how Lion King is a Hamlet adaptation.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure people back in like the 1920s are like, oh, you could never get the Romeo and Juliet story right in a movie, but it's been done so many times.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So Hamilton, it's gonna be done right.
Let's hope so.
Okay. I was curious because I know it's just I've noticed that a lot of times there's many ways of going about an idea, and I don't know. I get hesitant when when something started out one way. I guess it's not so much my opinion about adaptations or like changing. It's going from one medium to another, and how how that structure definitely needs to shift with it, or else it doesn't read as well. And that's kind of my feeling with Les Mis, but also in like theater to movies in general. I just feel there are a lot of ideas that only come across well a certain way. And I guess the like what Juan and Pedro were talking about before, like with that experimentation of those ideas, you get the chance to try and see if this idea could work in another medium. But I guess I'm a little. I guess I could be described a little bit as a purist. That like
No,
if it works
you definitely
great
have
in
valid
one
concerns.
aspect, I don't think it shouldn't try and polish itself even more, because you might drop it and fuck it up. But
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
definitely.
You make valid points, Jack. But
Mhm.
you know, sometimes
Nobody's right and wrong here. Everyone, everyone has a point here.
it's
Yeah.
like business. Show business is a gray area. Some things work, some things don't. There's no right or wrong. There's no black and white blueprint to do everything.
Yeah, when it works, it's beautiful, and when it doesn't, it's ugly. So speaking, all right. Before we decide on next movie, I gotta ask Juan something. You saw Cats, right?
Yeah.
So where did it go wrong? What? So where did Les Mis go right and the Cats go wrong? It's the same director too, so.
I think where it went wrong. Well, number one, the animation was just horrid. All those cat-like people just did not work for itself whatsoever. That's number one. Number two, the star power wasn't there. I mean, you had Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, Amanda Seinfeld,
Seyfried, Seinfeld,
and Eddie Redmayne for Les Mis. Who exactly did you have for Cats? You had Jason Derulo. You had
Taylor Swift,
James Corden. You had Rebel Wilson.
Taylor Swift.
And Taylor Swift too. And,
Idris Elba, Jennifer Hudson.
Right, but those were the performances that actually stood out. Idris Elba and Jennifer Hudson. They did a good job playing the characters they were designated to play. But veteran actors like Ian McKellen and Dame Judi Dench were kind of useless. They were like old people that didn't really matter in the film, whereas in Les Mis, characters that were like old, like the priest, minute characters, still had a role to play in this developing story and character development of the movie. And also, the vocabulary and lyrics of Cats itself is just so silly and stupid that it was just hard to take the film seriously. Like, what the hell is a jellicle cat? Okay, that I've never heard of that term before, and they don't explain it at all throughout the course of the movie. Les Mis speaks in very old English dialect, but at least it does a good job explaining what the hell they're talking about. And another complaint I have about Les Mis: why is it a French movie, but everyone else has an English accent?
Well, that's just that's just what happens,
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think Cats would
But
have been
didn't you know an
better?
angelical cat is just jellicle?
Don't even.
It's just a cat.
So,
It's a
okay,
cat that's jellicle. What's so
let me
hard
ask you-
about that?
What the hell does jellicle mean, Jack?
You know, when you're feeling jellicle,
Let me
one
ask you this,
is
Juan.
or is doing jellicle things.
Would Cats have been better if they just went with the costumes?
I think it would have been better if it went the whole live action Lion King route, CGI cats.
No, I don't. I think it would have done better if they went the Hamilton route. Give it the stage treatment with cameras on the inside.
That's what I mean. That would be incredible.
There are just some musicals that don't work in the movie adaptation. Cats is one of them. because there's just no way to translate it. All right, Les Mis sort of works because you can use the effects and special motion capturing technology to really set the stage for what 1800 French Revolution was like. In Cats, all you need is a back alley, and you don't need to expand the world any more than what that is.
All right.
I don't know. If they did film it like the musical and just used the Cats cast like they did for Hamilton, I feel like it would have felt more, I don't know, it just would have felt more not natural, because it's about cats, but like it felt more natural because it's performances by people who have almost fully embodied like some of these characters, because they're jellical, you know.
What the hell does that mean? You know what? I'm not. I'm gonna stop.
All right, guys. What's the next movie we're gonna watch for next week?
I can make a suggestion.
Oh, what's up, man? What do you?
Well, I was going off. There was a theme about justice and facing crimes and everything being fair in Les Mis. You know,
Justice.
like the revolutionaries wanted things to be equal, and Javert had this whole right and wrong, black and white view of justice, while Jean Valjean was just trying to live his life the best way he could. And the whole, things being fair and balanced kind of gave me the idea of maybe doing an action movie like The Equalizer.
I honestly thought you were going to say The Patriot with Mel Gibson, but that works too.
Disappoint you.
Is The Equalizer available somewhere?
Pretty sure it's on TV all the time.
Well, when you were saying fair and balanced, I was thinking of Thanos, to be honest.
Oh, jeez, perfectly balanced in every single way.
You want to do Infinity War? Or
we could do another Marvel movie that we've all seen, but it wouldn't be such a bad idea to take a good look at it again. We can do a bad Marvel movie, actually, if we can find it.
Am I going to get angry? I'm probably going to get angry because you're going to say a Marvel movie that's actually good and think it's bad, and I'm going to be like, what the hell? What the heck? Okay, here.
Daredevil?
The one with
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck, yeah.
Did you say Matt Damon?
I actually like Daredevil. Whoa.
Together. It's hard. I have the right to confuse them.
It's Daredevil, the movie. I don't hate that movie, though.
I like Ben Affleck, so I kind of have a bias.
I like it because I feel like I feel like calling Daredevil a bad superhero movie it's kind of like you didn't know it was bad at the time because you thought it was because there's only like 5 superhero movies at the time. But now looking back on it, we can say, oh, this movie's horrible.
And we look back on it right now if we don't watch it. I mean, we did Artemis Fowl to review a terrible movie. It's been a while since we actually reviewed a terrible movie. Let's give it a shot.
If we're gonna do a terrible movie, it has to be like we have to go all in. Like,
not Artemis Fowl again.
No, we're not doing Artemis Fowl. But I was thinking
that's a bad superhero movie.
What is?
Catwoman with Halle Berry.
Oh my god, that movie's so bad. It's so bad.
We have a winner.
Oh my god. I'll watch that movie. I'll watch Catwoman.
I was thinking, I was low-key wanting to watch Cats.
You want to watch?
You are not putting through that again. I will
wait,
not
the musical Cats or the one that movie that just came out, Cats?
The one that movie that just came out, Cats.
Jeez.
I
do want to see Idris Elba as a cat.
I do want to see that, but probably when I'm not sober.
That's a movie you have to watch inebriated just to really, really get why, man.
I do like cats in general, like the animals. I love cats.
Really, I hate
So-
cats.
And that movie's such a bad it's such a bad representation of cats. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
So I feel like we're back at square one. So
Are
we
you
talked.
sure? Why not Catwoman though? Why not?
cat.
It's-
Is it available anywhere?
I'm checking right now.
Watch
We
Catwoman.
can do Catwoman. We can do Cats, the movie. We can do.
Everything we want to watch involves cats. Let's just get that out there.
Okay, I found it to rent for $2 on Amazon.
I'm not paying $2 to watch that.
Yeah, they're still charging people money to see this.
It's like that movie is trying to. It's like it's trying to still pay the budget that it blew.
Oh God, how much money did that movie actually make?
Nice.
They spent. Whoop, whoop. How much money? They spent a lot of money. They spent. Oh no, this is the comic. I know the character of. Oh, there's another Catwoman movie coming out.
Really? Already?
No, it's a lie. It's just Google's lying to me. 2004.
Let's see.
They spent $100 million making that movie.
How much did they make back?
82.1 million.
All right, I have a bad movie suggestion, and it's on Netflix, but it's like a movie that'll probably like trigger us more than like we'll laugh at it, and it's The Last Airbender.
No!
Oh, oh, my heart.
You know,
Can't make me go through that again.
Avatar fan, I have never seen The Last Airbender.
Don't make me go through that again.
No, I don't even know if my heart can take that one.
Hey,
I'll take it. It's about time we started doing a bad movie for a change. We've been doing a lot of good.
I saw this movie before I saw the show a long time ago. So now that I've seen the show, I can finally like just look at it and be like, what the hell? What happened?
Let's give it a shot. I think this is something worth trying. I mean, we gave Artemis Fowl a shot. It didn't work. Let's try it with The Last Airbender and see how bad I could tear it apart on next week's podcast.
Can I make one suggestion?
Yes, you can.
So we watched Les Mis. We were
Yeah.
talking a lot about theater stuff. What if we watched William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh my god.
Is that on Netflix?
Danes. It's on Hulu.
I'm down to watch that.
What if we watched that? Because that is a movie where
We hate it.
they take all the same dialogue from the play,
And put it in a modern
but
setting.
just modern. And I feel like this, because it's not a great movie, but it could also very well be a bad movie. Also, Paul Rudd is in it.
Okay,
As
Jack,
who?
you convinced me.
Apparently, you need a Stars add-on to watch it, and we don't have that.
Oh shit.
Ours that on? What the heck is that?
Like, Stars the channel.
Hulu's making you pay to have an add-on to watch Romeo and Juliet.
Yep.
That's dumb. All right, I'll
Damn it.
watch The Last Airbender.
All right, Last Airbender it is.
Damn it. Jack,
Huh?
there's the only two people who hate this movie. I'd say we just skip it.
I very much might skip. If I don't show up next week, you know why. It's because I had
You
a
guys
heart attack.
wait.
and
I expect
died.
you to sit through this now.
Oh no.
No.
I might skip. But
Have you know mercy as a human being?
it's just such a bad movie, and we're already talking about it.
Look, if c.bo and I were able to get through a terrible movie like Artemis Fowl, y'all can sit through The Last Airbender.
But I can't. So.
Can, Jack.
I can't go through that a second time, man.
All
I
right.
can't go
So
back,
The
man.
Last Airbender it is. Before we go, we're reaching the end, and I kind of have to leave. Juan, football is back this week. What are some expectations you have of the season?
Honestly, I'm expecting a pretty mediocre season. I'm expecting a lot of injuries because there hasn't been any contact for the preseason. I'm expecting a shitty Thursday night football game coming up this week with the Texans going on against the Chiefs, which I have the Chiefs winning by at least 4.5 on the spread. And I'm in 6 fantasy teams, man. And all my quarterbacks suck. My best is Aaron Rodgers.
Damn. Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat with you. They only been practicing, right? They haven't gone full on like.
It's no con.
What just happened?
I think Juan froze. I'm in 2 fantasy leagues, and I just had my draft last night.
Nice. What are your thoughts and expectations of football this upcoming season?
I'm really hoping it lasts more than 3 weeks because I feel like.
Who's your team? Who's your team? Jack.
I gotta pull it up real quick.
Right,
I think Juan's back.
I'm back.
Yeah. So yeah. It's the football is not gonna be well played, and at least like the first 2 months, because everyone's kind of out of shape and no one's really, been in real situations yet. So yeah.
If you want like my quick picks, I have the Chiefs winning the West. I have the Texans winning the South. I have the Bengals winning the North. I have the Bills winning the East. And then down in the NFC, I have the Packers winning the North. I have the Eagles winning the East. The Seattle Seahawks winning the West. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the South.
All right, cool.
All right.
Go, Pat, go!
Any expectations for the Jets?
I expect a 5-11 season and that the head coach gets fired midway at week 8.
All right, cool. Nice.
I have my team pulled up if you want to hear some highlights.
Sure.
For the second league, I got Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I got.
Damn, that's awesome.
I was second pick in this league, and I was very shocked because I literally nothing, and I had someone help me during the whole thing. Deshaun Watson's my quarterback.
No way.
Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Hunter. I don't know if Hunter Henry. He's not in the top, but he's
good, but he's very injury prone.
Oh, that's right. David Montgomery, who's currently I'm seeing questionable, but I don't know why.
That means that he's injured, and there's a question of whether or not he'll play.
Yeah.
I was just seeing what his injury was. That's what I meant.
Hamstring, probably.
So okay, So we're all pretty excited about football. It starts this Thursday, so we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, the NFL doesn't shut down because of if growing cases or anything. But we'll see what happens. I kind of have to go now, guys. This is going to be the end of the podcast. Guys, thank you so much for coming. We're going to be back with Last Airbender next week. That's going to be a fun conversation, to say the least.
It's going to be sad.
Thank you guys for coming. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll be back next week.
Later, guys.
Later.
All right. You never see it coming. To be dinner and fast and right. God.